You can log into the software from a browser. Recommended that Google Chrome should be a browser. You can enter the login name, user ID and password, and then you can click the login button so that you can log in into the main software screen. Make sure your pop-ups are enabled and not blocked so that you can see all the software screens. The initial screen will show you a screen or a pop-up which will show you the alerts appearing in the software. The type of alerts are amount approval. As I am logged in with the administrator user, so I have the master rights of the use of the software. I can see all the amount approval pending at my end. I can select any particular entry and can click the details button to see the details of it, or can click the approve button to approve the particular entry. Then I have requisition approvals as well, and I have posted data tab in which I can see all the posted entries if I want. In unposted data, I can see the unposted entries which need my approval for posting. I have to select those entries and click the post button so that they can be locked and become uneditable. As I am the administrator user, I can unpost a posted entry if I want to make any changes into an. I will close this pop-up window of alerts. I will see the main screen of the software, which is the dashboard, and here you will see the menu in which all the options of the software are available. You can also access any form or report using this search menu. You just have to type the name or partial name of that form or report here if you want to access it from here. In the dashboard, you can see the dashboard of multiple modules like GL, purchases, sales and inventory. But if a user doesn't have the rights to watch or see these dashboards will not be available to that user. This is the button from where you can get back to the dashboards. Below the dashboard button, we have the setup menu. In the setup menu, we have different categories like journal setup, then GL based setup, inventory setup. In journal setup, you can set up your company here, your company name and other details, location. This is a one-time setup. Once you enter it, all these details will be available on your reports header and on your screen as well. After company setup, you can add multiple business units of your company using this form. Each business unit should be under your company. If you are working project-based sales or purchases, then you can add multiple projects here as well. Each of your project will pertain to a particular customer or business unit. These are optional fields. Only the fields with red asterisk mark beside it are mandatory fields. You can add sites. The list of all currencies available in the world are given in the software. You just have to select which is your default currency. You can select multiple currencies as your default currency. The limit of default currency is 5, so you can select up to 5 currencies to work with in your software. You can also add the exchange rate of that company into your local currency exchange rate so that it can be fetched automatically at the time of entering the forms. You can also change the exchange rate at the time of entry. This is the journal approval policy form, where you can select any form available in the software and put a user-based approval rights on it. You will select a form name. If you want to select a particular site, you can select the site which is making that form, and you can select the user whose approval is required to fulfill this form's entry. Without this user's approval, this form will not be reflected into your financials, and it will appear as pending until the user doesn't approve it. If the user is not available, you can also select an alternative user who can approve it on the main user's behalf. You can add multiple levels of approval on any form. Like in this entry, the fund transfer detail form will require the approval of administrator to get reflected in the financials. If you are not using the journal approval policy and you want to make policies based on your amount limits, then you can use this form. Here, all the forms which have currencies or amounts involved in them are listed. You can make the policy for those forms, like your vouchers and purchase orders and sale orders. If you select any form, it will show you the limit of currencies, the starting and ending range, and the currency in which the voucher should be. You have to select the currency range and then select the users who will approve the vouchers from range 0 to 10,000 dirhams. All the payments from up to 10,000 dirhams will get approved by these two users. In the chart of accounts form, you can create your GL chart of account using this form. You will see the main heads or account natures available in the software, which are asset, liabilities, equity, revenue and expense, and under each head you will find a sub nature. You have to select it to create account heads, and then you will select the account type. If it's a control account or a transaction account, you can create multiple transaction account under a control account. Then you have to select the head under which you are creating the control or transaction account. It will generate the account code automatically. You have to type the account name, its description if any, if you want to enter the opening balance of that account, and if that account is for a particular site only, you can select the site and location, which is optional. You can view the report of chart of accounts from this button. Once you add the cash and bank heads in chart of account, you can add the further details of cash and bank accounts in subsequent forms. Like if you select the cash heads in this form, it will show you the currency in which your cash account is and the other details like who's the account owner and which business unit is using that cash account. You can add these details. Same like cash account, you can add the details to bank accounts as well. Bank account number, bank account title, the currency, IBAN number, branch code, etc. The main heads of cash and bank will be added from the chart of accounts, or if you add any bank or cash using this form, it will be reflected into your chart of account automatically. You can add the customer's detail from this form. Like for cash and bank account, you can also create and add the customer details using this form. You can select a pre-created customer from chart of account form in this form, and then you can select the category of that customer and the location details of that customer and other details like if discount is allowed, the customer is taxable or not, or which business unit it pertains to, its credit days, etc. in this form. You can also import the list of your customers using a given template using the button provided below to import the customer details. Same like customer details, you can also provide the details for your supplier heads or payable heads. Just like suppliers, you can provide the details of your contractors. This form is your VAT head setup form, in which you can define all the VAT heads available in your region and the percentage of tax applicable on those heads. You can select the type of amount, original amount or compound amount, type of head, is it a sales VAT or purchase VAT, then if it's a VAT head or an excise head, and the GL head which will be mapped to this VAT head. In the inventory category of setup forms, you can add the inventory items using this form. Just like the chart of account form where you added your account heads, you can add all your inventory items using this form. You can select the parent account under which you are creating an inventory category or item. Then you have to select the item type. If it's a category or an item, it will generate the code automatically. You have to enter the name and it will generate a barcode for it, but you can also enter your predefined barcode in it up to 20 characters. Select the nature of that item. You can add the natures from this given form. You can select the unit of measurement of that item, and you can also add other unit of measurements using this form. The links of these form is also available in setup module. You have to select if this item is used in purchases or sales, or if it's a service item, and should it be available in reporting as well or not. If it's a capex item or capital expenditure item, then you have to select the nature of the capital expenditure head, or if it's not a fixed asset or capital expenditure item, then you don't have to select this head. You can give the minimum, maximum and reorder levels of this item to get the alerts about the item levels. If that item is taxable, then you have to select the default tax applicable on it, default purchase tax applicable on it, which inventory head it should hit in the GL form, which revenue head, and the fixed asset account. If it's a capex item, then which fixed asset account to hit, and if it's a service, then which cost of goods sold account has to hit. You can also upload the image of an item in this form. Unit of measurement form is provided here as well. Then this is the price detail form. You can enter the price of a particular item according to the store or without selecting a particular store. And if you are giving special prices to any particular category of customers or a particular customer, you can select it here as well. You can import the list of prices of items using the template provided with the software. You can also attach documents to all the forms if you want to add any supporting document in PDF or image format, and then you can view it from here as well. This documents option is available with almost all the forms in the transaction menu. Here you can add multiple stores if you have, and the location of your store, and which GL head to hit your stock. You can add your salesperson here and enter their commission percentage. So at the time of sales, their commission can be calculated according to this percentage. Using this form, you can create item groups so that if a particular item selected as a grouped item is sold, then the subsequent items bound to it will be deducted from the stock automatically. Using this form, you can generate the barcode of items to be sold and paste the stickers on it. You can enter the price of that item and select the currency of it, and then once you enter all the items, you can export the file and it will generate the barcode stickers of all the items you are going to sell. You can enter any number in the quantity and those number of tags will be generated for a particular item. After entering all the detail in the setup menu, we can move on to the GL menu. In the GL menu, we have predefined formats of vouchers like opening voucher, payment voucher, receipt voucher, journal voucher, petty cash voucher, closing voucher, and then we have some special vouchers like fund transfer, external fund transfer, advances, budgeting, transaction movements, and ledgers. Starting with the opening voucher, in the payment voucher, you can make multiple type of payments. Like if you are making a payment for both cash and bank heads simultaneously, then you can select payment mode as multiple, and you can select multiple banks or cash account and enter the amount in breakups. Here you will select which account to debit. Excise and VAT percentages will be applied automatically, and it will show you the totals of it. Your debit and credit balance should be equal in order to save the voucher. Or if you don't want to make a multiple payment voucher, then you can simply select cash or bank. Once you will select the bank, you can select the name of the bank from the next column. Or if you select cash, you have to select the cash head from the next column, and it will automatically take the total amount as credit into that cash or bank account. It will be a single entry effect. You can also change the currency of this voucher and enter the exchange rate here. You will enter the amount in local currency here, and it will automatically change the amount into US dollar by multiplying it with exchange rate. You will enter the amount in US dollar, and it will convert it into your local currency by multiplying it with exchange rate. This is the report of your payment voucher. This voucher is automatically posted. So you can see on the top of every voucher if it's a posted or unposted voucher. If you want to clear a payable entry, you can select the purchase payment option and then you can select the supplier. It will show you all the pending payments of a supplier which you purchased on credit, and you can see the purchase order details by clicking the detail button. The terms were credit, that's why this payable is still pending. This is the original amount which was payable, and this is the amount owing. It means you have to clear this amount, and you can enter the amount which you are going to pay here. You can enter the check number. If you have selected the bank, then you can enter the check number and check date to clear the payable, and you can save or update it. This voucher is also available in the purchases module as a link. Just like payment voucher, we have the same functionality for receipt vouchers, just that we don't have multiple receipts. You can receive in bank or cash. This will be a single entry effect. You will select the credit heads in the grid and it will automatically debit the cash or bank with the total amount. If you select the sales receipt, then you have to select the customer, and once you select the customer, it will show you all the pending invoices of that customer to clear the receivables. This is the format of a receipt voucher report. In journal voucher, you have to select both credit and debit heads yourself. You can select any purchase or sale invoice reference number from here. You have to enter the amount and select debit or credit. If you select debit or credit, it will show you in totals automatically. You can also click adjusting entry option if you want to make this entry as an adjusting entry. This is the format of your general voucher. Petty cash voucher is just like your payment voucher, but it will be used for cash accounts only, and you can make petty purchases using this voucher. It's an additional feature. If a user doesn't want to use it, then they can simply hide the view of this voucher using the user rights form. Fund transfer voucher is a special voucher if you want to transfer the funds from one bank to another or from bank to a cash head. Then you can select the account from which you want to move the balance and to which account you want to move the funds. You just have to enter the amount, check number, check date, and it will automatically debit and credit the accounts which you have selected in from and to column. You can also make this entry using a JV or a payment or receipt voucher, but this voucher is given for the ease of a user so that they can transfer the funds with a simple entry. External fund transfer is if you want to make a fund transfer to a supplier or customer's account from your bank account. Then you have to select your bank account and select the supplier or customer to whose account you are sending the payment or from whom you are receiving the amount. You have to enter the amount, and the subsequent details are just the statutory details of the other party's bank and its branch and banking code, etc. It will automatically create a receipt or payment entry at the back end. If you have paid the advances to a supplier or you are holding the advances from a customer, you can enter the details from this form. Like if you have paid the advance to a supplier, you just have to select the supplier and the amount of advance you have paid to him. And if it's a security deposit, there is a checkbox for security deposit as well. It will automatically hit your finances for an advance entry. You can create a budget using this form. You can select the multiple levels of your chart of account from here up to which you want to create your budget. If you want to create a budget for the first level of your accounts, then it will show you only the the 5 heads: asset, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. You have to select the year for which you are going to make the budget and your starting month. And the red columns will show you the months of your current year, and the black columns will show you the budget of previous year. If you have fed the budget for previous year, you can see the comparison beside it. Move transaction form is given to move all the transactions from one GL head to another. For example, if you selected a GL head, it will show you all the entries in that head. You can select all the entries and move it to some other GL head and can save it. It is just to adjust your chart of account and trial balance if needed. Closing voucher will be required at the year end. When a user will close their accounts, they have to select the profit and loss account, and then once all the entries in their GL are posted, they just have to click the Get Closing button, and it will show you the balances of all your P&L heads below in the grid and the total amount of that head, and the user just have to save it so that all your P&L heads should get closed and you can move on to the next year's accounting. Here you can see that some entries are unposted, that's why we are unable to generate the closing voucher. Using the ledger button, a user can see the ledger of a single account by selecting the same account in From on 2 column, or can select the range of accounts, the date range, site reference, entries posting status, and the currency in which they want to see their ledger. And they can add additional filters to a ledger report if they want. The criteria of filter are given in the list. The user can select any filter criteria. And then click the Show button to see the ledger reports of the selected account or accounts. the reports menu, you will find the particular reports related to your GL. All other reports are also available in the reports menu. Here you can see the trial balance, ledgers, profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow, and changes in equity reports. Here you can see the trial balance report, that is 6-column trial balance with opening, transaction, and closing entries. I have taken the report for all levels, that's why it's showing control and transaction both accounts. The gray columns are control heads while the white columns are transaction heads. In the profit and loss and balance sheet report, you can take this report up to 3 comparative periods. Marked accounts are shown below in the grid. If you select the profit and loss for marked account, it will show you the profit and loss for the selected accounts only. Your first period date is your current profit and loss, and you can also take 2 other periods as comparative if you want. You can take the profit and loss, trial balance, and balance sheet for a particular site or for the whole company. If you select a comparative period, you will see the same report with 2 columns. And if you select the third period, then you will see the same report with 3 columns. This is the purchase module screen of the software. You can access this screen using the purchase option available in the menu list. If you click it, you will enter into this screen where you will see the suppliers list, which is available in the setup forms as well. Then you can make purchase quotations as well if you have any quotations for purchases, which will be used for later assistance. Then it also has the payments voucher link, which is available in the GL module. There are 2 types of purchases in it. First is direct purchase, which will act as a purchase order as well as good receipt note and purchase invoice all in one. You can select the quotation which you have made in the purchase module earlier. You can use its reference here. You can select the type of purchase. If you select the cash purchase, it will show you cash balance, the cash heads. Otherwise, it will show you the bank heads, or you can select the credit as your terms of purchase. You have to select the store from which you will make the purchases, where your stock will enter. You have to select the supplier, the currency in which you are purchasing. If you have any advances from the supplier, you can select its reference from here. There are a few other details available in this form as well. Type of purchase, type of item, and if the purchase order is inclusive or exclusive of VAT. After selecting these options, you have to select the item and enter its quantity and price. As soon as you will select the item, it will show you the unit of measurement of that item and last purchase price if available. When you will enter the quantity and price of that item, it will automatically calculate the excise and VAT to implement on that item if applicable, or you can select the excise, discount and VAT heads given in the menu option. It will automatically calculate the totals and once you save this direct purchase order, it will create a purchase order as well as the good receipt note and purchase invoice all in one and will hit your financials. You can see the report of it, and also you can see the tax report of this purchase order. This is the purchase order detail report. And if you check the tax report option and take the same report, you can see the same report in your purchase tax invoice format. If you are not using the direct purchase method option, then you have to make the purchase requisition, then have to approve it, and after the approval of the requisition you can make the purchase order, then good receipt note, and then purchase invoice. First you have to make a purchase requisition, or your departments will make the purchase requisition like shown on the screen. You can see which site has made the requisition to which site, and if it's a purchase requisition or a journal requisition, which department has made it, who is the user which requested you, and whom the user has requested. Then this requisition will go into the approval cycle as defined in the setup form of amount approval policy. It can be a single level approval or can be a multi-level approval. Initially, this requisition will be pending in its status, and only an authorized user can approve it. On the approval form, if you select the requisition number, you will see the details of the requisition. Then the authorized user can select the status approved or rejected, and also can change the approved quantity of this requisition, either greater or less than the required quantity. And then can save this. Once it is approved, it will be available for the next steps. If it got rejected, it will not be available in subsequent forms for any further processing. If your approval is multi-level approval, then the next user cannot see it unless the previous user approves it. Using this form, you can group multiple requisitions into a single requisition according to a supplier group, so that you can create a single purchase order for a supplier for multiple items. You can ask for quotations or RFQs from your supplier. You can select the requisition group reference number here, and then can select your supplier who is giving you the quote, and can enter multiple quotes in it. Only the quote which is approved will be available in the purchase order. You have to select the RFQ status as approved if you want it to appear in the purchase order. In the purchase order form, you can select the supplier, and then it will automatically get all the RFQs from that supplier. Then you can select the RFQ number, and it will automatically fill this purchase order form. Although it will fetch all the quantity and price from the previous forms which are approved, but still the user can change the quantity or price in this purchase order form before finalizing it. All the forms have auto posting or manual posting option. So once you save any form, an authorized user is still eligible to see those forms before it hit your financials, and can change it before posting it. Once any form is posted, you cannot change the financials or data in that form, but before posting it, the user or authorized user can change the details of any form. Once you make the purchase order, then you can make multiple deliveries of GRN against that single purchase order. It could be a single delivery or could be multiple deliveries as well. It will show you the purchase order quantity. You just have to enter the received quantity, and it will show you the balance quantity which is yet to be received. As soon as you will enter the received quantity, it will automatically fill the same figure in QC quantity. You can change the QC quantity if you find any piece defected or you think that the items have to be returned. Also, this form will ask you which store you have selected to input your stock. as well as which quantity you want to hit your stocks, either the received quantity or the QC quantity. Whichever quantity type you will select, it will affect your stock with that quantity. You can also generate the purchase bill using the same form if you are generating the bill at the time of delivery. If you uncheck this option, then you have to create the purchase bill manually later using this form, where you will select the supplier and it will automatically show you all the pending deliveries or GRNs against which you have to create the supplier bill, so that your financials can be hit. You can see the simple purchase bill report. You can also see the purchase bill tax report if you check this tax report option. Other than this procurement cycle, we also have purchase contracts. If you have recurring purchases every month or a period, you can create a purchase contract with a contractor and then can receive deliveries against that particular purchase contract on recurring basis without creating a purchase order every time. This purchase contract can also be used if you are procuring any services rather than a physical item. You have to select the quantity type fixed or variable. If you selected quantity type fixed, it will not let you procure more than the mentioned quantity, but if you select the variable quantity type, then it will let the user to intake more quantity than the mentioned quantity in purchase contract. Every time you will receive any quantity, the purchase bill will be generated on the mentioned price in the contract. You can make multiple receivings against a contract. If the quantity type is fixed, then you cannot intake more than mentioned quantity. But if the quantity type is variable, you can procure the same quantity every month or every time you want without creating a purchase order again. You also can make multiple deliveries against a contract and can generate the contract bill at the time of delivery. If you are not generating the bill at the time of delivery, then you have to create the contract bill separately using this form. As soon as you will select a contractor, it will show you all its pending deliveries against which the bill has to be made, so that your financials can be updated. You can view the simple contract bill report or tax report using the same options as in the previous billing reports. Other than these three types of purchases, we have debit note or purchase return, where you have to select the purchase type. Either it is a direct purchase, it is a contract based purchase, or an order based purchase. You have to select that type of purchase first, then you have to select the purchase order transaction number or the bill number against which you are making the returns. It will fill the form automatically with the details. You just have to enter the quantity in delivery quantity column in the grid, which you are going to return to your supplier. In the purchase menu, all the purchase reports are available. Other than that, purchase reports are also available in the report menu under the software's main menu list. You can access the sales module using the sales link in the menu given as shown in the figure. You will access the sales module where you will find sales report. These customers are in setup menu as well. You can make a quotation for the sales using this form. This quotation can be used in sales order or direct sales order as well. To create a quotation, you should select a customer, then this will be your quotation status. If it is pending, it will not appear in the subsequent forms. This will be your sales type, your terms of sales, and your currency, your site of sales, and then you can select the item. It will show you the last price of it. You can enter the quantity and price which you are quoting to your customer. It will automatically select the excise slab and the VAT slab if it's applicable on that item, and it will calculate the prices and totals automatically. You can save or update this sales quotation, and you can view its report as well. This quotation can be used in sales order or direct sales order as a reference if you want. It's an optional form. After making the quotation, you can make direct sales, which will act as a sales order, sales delivery order, as well as sales invoice, all in one form. It will create a sale and then deduct the stock from your inventory at the time of making it, and will also impact your financials as soon as you save it. You have to select the terms of your sales and then store from which your stock has to be deducted or delivered. Then you have to select the customer to whom you are supplying the goods, or you can simply select the quotation from the list so that it can automatically fill your form based on the quotation you have already made. You just have to enter the quantity and price in this form if you select the quotation. Rest of the fields will get filled automatically as soon as you will select the quotation. You can change the price if you want, or you can change the quantity as well, but you cannot issue more quantity than your stock quantity. It will automatically calculate the totals and VATs, everything. You just have to save it. And you can also select the salesperson in this form so that the sales commission entry can also hit your financials. You can view the direct sales report once you find it. And you can also see the tax report. If you click this option and take the report, it will generate the report, same report, with the heading sales tax invoice. To make your sales, other than that, you have to follow the sales cycle, in which you have to first make the sales order, then have to make the deliveries, and then sale invoice. To make a sales order, you can either fill the form, or you can also select the pre-made quotation. It will fill the form automatically. You just have to select the customer if you are making the sales order for the new customer. Enter the manual sale number if you have any, and sales type, item type, tolerance percentage, or you can simply select the quotation, which will fill the form automatically. You have to enter the quantity and price after selecting the item in the grid list. It will automatically apply the VAT and excise slabs on that item and will calculate the total. You can also select the salesperson in this form, just like the direct sales form, and just save it. If you take the report of this sales order, you will see all the details which you have fed in the form. After making the sales order, you can make multiple deliveries against a single sales order. You just have to select the sales transaction number, that is your sales order number, and it will fill the rest of the form automatically. Then you have to select the store from which or where you are making the deliveries. This will tell you your sales quantity. It means how much you have entered in your sales order. Then your stock quantity. You just have to enter the delivery quantity and it will make your delivery order. You can also create the invoice using this delivery form if you are making the invoice and delivery at the same time. You just have to check this generate invoice and it will generate the invoice at the time of delivery. If you don't want to generate the invoice at the time of delivery, then you have to create the sales invoice separately using this form. Here you can select the sales order number and then it will show you the delivery made against the sale order. If you have multiple deliveries, it will show you multiple deliveries in the credit list. You have to select the item which will be available in the sales order. It will show you the sales quantity of it and delivered quantity of it. You just have to enter the invoicing quantity so that it can generate the invoice amount against that quantity and book your receivable, and then you can save it. If you take this report, you will see sales invoice detail, or if you want to generate the tax invoice of it, it also has the tax report. Click option and then you can take the report. It will generate the sales tax invoice. This is the same report but with a different heading. This is for your sales cycle. Then you can also create credit notes against your sales. You have to select the type of sales, either it is a sales order based sale or direct sale, the type of it, and then you have to select the transaction reference number of that sale. Either you can select the sale order number or the invoice number, sale invoice number, so that your data can be fetched. Once your data is fetched, it will show you that what was your sale quantity and how much you delivered against this particular delivery number. You just have to enter the quantity which you want to book as your credit note or sales return. As soon as you will enter that quantity, it will create a credit note against the entered quantity. Then we also have the receipts form link here, which is available in the GL module as well. After entering all the entries in GL, purchase and sales, you can go to the VAT menu. Here you have the VAT heads setup form, which is available in the setup form. Then this is your VAT return form, where you can generate the return for a particular period. You can select the type of your VAT return, either it's monthly or quarterly or half-yearly return, and you have to select the period for which you are generating the return, the year, the month, the starting month and the ending month. It will generate the starting and ending date automatically. You have to click the Get Data button and it will fill the return format below. Then you can just take the report after filling all the other required information. This will be available on your screen as a PDF file, which you can download in PDF or Excel format as well. Just like the VAT return, we also have the excise return format pre-fed in the software. It has the same parameters as of the VAT return format. You just have to input all the required parameters and it will generate the report, which you can see on a screen, print it or download it as PDF, Word, Excel, or CSV file. Other than the returns, we have other VAT reports as well. You can select the type of your return, the period of it, the category of return, either it is a VAT return or an excise return. The report type, either you want to see the return or the FTF audit file. Or you can also take this return site-wise if you don't want to see the return for the whole company. This will generate the VAT audit file. You can also export it or print it. It will export the file in Excel format, which you can submit to FT authorities. You can also generate the excise audit file. Then we have the reports menu and users menu. In the user menu, you can create new user or can amend a user which is already created. We have the button level rights for every user. You just have to enter the ID of the user, then username. This username will be used as the login name, and then the password of that user. You can also select the dashboard type which the user can see on his screen. And there are certain types of user. You can select predetermined user type or can create a customized user. You can bound a user to a particular site so that the user cannot see the data for that particular site or other than that particular site. If you select the customized user, you can select the options which that user can use. You will see the module types, either it's a form, it's a setup form, it's a GL form. Then you can check the rights of that user. And can save or update it. User activity log detail is also available in the reports menu, where you can see the activity of a particular user, or if you don't enter any username, it will show you the activity of all users. This is the button to log out from the system.